Chris, I'm doing everything I can this morning not to preach what I preached yesterday because I'm still there.
Okay.
I mean, that message is still preaching in me, and I have to not listen to it to try to focus on today's message. But I'm going to tell you, I'm distracted. I am so distracted because yesterday's message hit me like a ton of bricks.
Right, it's good.
Matthew chapter 24, are you there?
Yes.
What did I just do? Jesus is teaching about the last days, right? And he's saying stuff like, nation shall rise against nation. Not you, but countries. How you doing, nation? 24:9 says, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. They're going to pick on you. They're going to pick you out. You're going to be chosen out of a crowd. Why? Anybody know why they're going to pick on you? Why they're going to choose you?
Because you're God's child.
Why Jesus says you're a target? Why? You are peculiar, but more specifically, what makes you different than everybody else? Why are you a target? What makes you different than everybody else in the world?
So pretty. I love it.
Besides being pretty, what are you?
God's child.
What'd you say? Bought with a price? Yeah, but more specific than that. Because what?
Because you're a child of God.
Say it loud, please.
Because you're a child of God.
Because you're a child of God?
Because you serve Him.
Because you serve Him? Why do you do that?
Because you believe in Him.
Because you believe. Stand up. Give that girl a hand clap. I need you to know how right you are. All those other questions are correct. But what you just said was right. Because you believe. Do you know how many people don't believe?
Right. Yeah. Right.
You have your seat. You believe. Glenn's doing what he's doing because he believes. And despite or in spite of the goings on in the city of Mount Clemens, that's facts. But the only thing that trumps a fact is a truth. And he believes in a truth that despite the facts, I'm going to hang my hat on this truth. I believe that this is God's doing. I believe that I'm supposed to be doing this. I believe that the Lord is, and that He is a rewarder, not a punisher. Feels like I'm being constantly punishing, but that's not the Lord. I'm excited. I'm trying to slow down. The difference between you and everybody else in the world is that when oppression and when challenges and when scenarios and when things come upon your life like it does theirs, you're not immune. You gotta work. You gotta press. You got to keep it moving. And just because you get surrounded doesn't mean for you that there's no way out. Do you guys know what revelry is? Revelry. Revelry is a song that the cavalry would play.
Right. Get them all riled up for battle.
If you guys have ever seen a Western of any kind, you probably heard da 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 That means charge.
Yeah.
That means go forward. That means we're going through. And guess what? There's an opposition coming at them.
Right.
But Revelry is still playing it like, I don't care what's coming. We are going to pursue. We are going to progress despite the odds, despite the challenge, because this is what God says. This is what God has promised us. This is what comes as the result of your belief. He said there is no opposition that you could ever find yourself in that God has not already
Provided a way of escape.
Oh! That means you're going to get in trouble. And you may get in trouble more often than when you were a believer. When you were a sinner, maybe you can, lay back on a Sunday and sleep in and everything was cool. Seemed like when you weren't serious about God, things were more relaxed. And they were more Netflix and chill. Somebody say, man, thank you, Chris. Huh?
Yeah.
But now that you're serious about God, it seems like every Sunday there's a challenge.
Yeah.
It seems like every Saturday night ends in something sour. So you're waking up with a sour taste in your mouth. Seems like you don't want to do what you want to do. Huh? Girls.
I'm paying attention.
But God says, I didn't come so you won't have challenges. As a matter of fact, as a result of me, Jesus, being in your life, you're going to have more challenges.
Yes. Right. Yes.
Now, as a believer, how do you walk that out? How do you walk that through? Do you act like you've always acted, or do you act like you got somebody in your life now? Do you believe in Jesus? Well, more importantly, do you believe what he said? That you won't find yourself in an escape room without a way out.
That's right.
There is always, somebody say always.
Always.
There is always and there will always be. Wait. Look behind you. Look behind you. You know what's behind you? Life. Right? Anybody been through some teens? T-I-N-G-Z, teens. Anybody been through some teens? Look back again. Look real good. I know it's been so long ago, like last week, last month, maybe even yesterday. Have you been through some things?
Yes.
Did you make it through?
Yes.
Did you make it through? Did you make it out?
Amen.
Were the odds against you? But nevertheless, I did it. I'm here. I'm not supposed to be. Anybody like me that got this testimony, I'm not supposed to be here. Right. I can't tell you the number of times that I have literally died. Or should have died. There's so many times that I should literally be, I should not be here. I should be gone. I can think about a car accident where I died. I can think about a motorcycle accident where I should have been dead. I can think about, if I think about all of these things, I'm like, what in the world am I doing here? There's only one reason why you're here. You're supposed to be here. God has a plan, and God's plans don't go sideways. His plans go according to plan. Now, you're worried, and your hands get wet and salty and sweaty, and you're worried about your plans. I don't know if this plan is going to work. I don't know if my plan, I put together this plan. I got a business plan. I got a life plan. I got life goals. I don't know if it's going to work out. Quit worrying about your plans and worry about his. Because God's plans always go according to plan. According to his plan. The thing about his plan is you can't see it.
Right.
But if you know that he is and that he has one, then trust it even though you don't understand it. Why is this here? Why did this happen? Why did this calamity happen? Well, it must be a part of God's plan because I don't like it. I didn't expect it. It came out of left field. I wasn't ready for it. But if it's going according to his plan, it's working for my good. It doesn't look good, but it's working for my good. I don't like what I say. I don't like how it makes me feel. But if I believe him, I'm not going to believe it, even though it is staring me in the face.
Amen. Amen.
I need you to know that the presence of God on your life will put you in a position of authority where you can not only speak to things in your life, but you can speak to the devil himself and say, "Get thee behind me." And if it's the devil himself blocking your path, you can tell the devil to depart and flee from me. And if you're so physically nervous that your jaws and your teeth are clacking and you can't come up with the words, simply resist the devil.
Right.
And the Bible says, believe the Bible, he will flee from you.
Yes.
You don't have to say, okay, what did he say to that? In the name of Jesus. You don't even have to think of the words. You don't have to recite some magical utterance. Zamzabar. There's no magical word that will open the door of the path of your life. You simply have to have and remember that you have the presence of God with you and on your life. If you remember that and just resist what's trying to pull you up that path, the devil will flee from you. You ain't got to say something. Devil, you foul spirit, you super, you go back to the depths of hell where you came from. You don't have to pray. You don't have, now if you do pray, something's going to happen.
Right.
But you don't have to pray. All you need to do is resist. Like he's pushing on you and you're going to, I don't feel like moving. I'm supposed to be going this way. And regardless of what's in my path, regardless of what's trying to block my path, regardless of what's trying to pull me back the way I used to go, to places I used to do, the way I used to deal with things, the way I used to cope with stuff, rather than being pushed back into that old scenario, there's a way of escape that's designed in this path for me to get out of here unscathed. Guess what? Hebrew boys were left on record because they were pushed into a furnace, and they came out of that furnace because they had a way of escape. They came out of that furnace because they had a way of escape. They came out of the furnace not smelling like smoke, having been in the furnace. They didn't smell, their eyebrows weren't incensed. Their clothing didn't smell like smoke. They made it out. Why? To show you that you can too. And that was Old Testament stuff. That was a long, long time ago. That's old school. The promises of God are yea and amen. In other words, they're still the same. There's no secret what God can do. What he's done for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, he can do for you. And he will. So either the Bible is true, believe it, or what you see is true and be fearful. Live in fear. Matthew 24 and, what is it, 9? Where were we just now? I got a few scriptures. Where were we just now, baby?
Oh, I wasn't. 24:9.
3:12.
And because iniquity shall abound,
Yes, that's what I want.
the love of many shall wax cold.
Because Jesus is saying 2,000 years ago, in the last days, there's going to be some stuff happening. And we're seeing that right now, aren't we? Right? Wars and rumors of wars, kingdom against kingdom, nation against nation. Right? We're seeing those things right now. So in that same segment of time, he says, and during that time, the love of many
Shall wax cold.
because of iniquity. Now, iniquity. Iniquity is the result of a fundamental disconnect. I'm not going to do anything against you if I realize that you are me. I'm not going to do something against your family if I realize that your family is my family. If I recognize a fundamental tie
Yes.
that's both communal and cultural, that supersedes blue or red, elephants or donkeys, melanin or none, if I realize that there's a fundamental tie, like between husband and wife, those whom God has joined together. Well, God joins us all together because we are His children. We're the sheep of His pasture. But when we forget about that, the fundamental tie that draws us together, then if nothing in our minds is holding us together, then that makes us different. It makes us separate. And when separatism is exploited, then our thoughts, our minds, our lives become divisive. The funny thing about divisive, you can only divide things to a certain point. Because if you start saying things like, well, you know, you're Protestant and I'm Catholic. Huh? You're white and I'm black. So now I'm in a circle where everybody's black, everybody's like me. But if everybody's like me in the circle that I'm in, why am I so lonely? Why am I so lonely? Why do I feel so much alone if everybody that's in my segment, in my clique, is like me? Because that's not the way that love was designed. Love was designed to flow from heart to heart and from breast to breast. Love is God. God is love. And if I'm separate, there's no God in my circle. What you got is a bunch of people that are walled off. You got a bunch of people that walk around afraid, guarding their heart. You got a bunch of people that are closed off from community and segment. And what happens in that scenario is that people are less and less generous. You see somebody need you, I don't know if it's a scam. I don't know if he's really, if he's going to go buy alcohol. I mean, I got money in my pocket, but I'm not going to give it to him. Because it's not in my heart. What is in my heart is protect my heart. Because my heart has been broken. I'm in a scenario. I'm in a cubby hole. I'm a round peg in a round hole, and everybody's in this is like me. But if everybody's broken like me, then nobody shares.
Right.
Talk back to me.
Right.
Nobody's close. Do you remember years ago? Some of you. When they would have class reunions, my wife was talking about this earlier today. When they had class reunions and everybody wanted to come, and everybody showed up, because we thought about the good old days, and we want to see how our old friends were doing. Nowadays, class reunions, they cancel them. Nobody's interested. We're talking about kids this morning. They don't want to go back to their old high schools because they don't care. They moved on. There's nothing there for me. They've severed the tie. When you start severing ties and nothing connects you to anybody, you are in this world, but you're in this world alone. You have love, but you are not loved because people don't love. And if you just bottle up love in your heart, it doesn't just stay fresh. You know what happens to love in your heart? It expires. And without being tapped into the source, God is love. If you don't tap into God, what's in your heart stops being love. You start redefining the word. It starts showing up as evidence in your society as something other than what was lovely and pure and innocent. You stop thinking about and fantasizing about growing up and getting a job and getting married. Now you want to grow up and be mature and have a wifey. Not a wife, but a reasonable facsimile. Some that looks like a wife but isn't. Some that acts like committed but isn't. Will drop you like a hot potato. And our television, all the drama about the movie stars, and they are walking out this false sense of realities. These two are together and then they're broken up. And these two are together and they're broken up. And this one that broke up is not with this one. And we think about how sensational. Well, they were making such a good couple, and we were happy for. They weren't married. They were never married. Oh, he loved me, and he gonna give me a baby, and I'm gonna have a baby with him. You're not married. Why are we supporting this? Why are we excited about this? Why are we got? Did you hear about Black China? Black China. What kind of name is that? And they're coming about. Let me not go down that road. Let me not go down that road. I always giggle when I hear the name Cardi B. I giggle when I hear the name because that wasn't her original nickname. Her original nickname was Bacardi. But her Instagram account kept getting shut down. She got tired of getting shut down, so she changed it because she thought her nickname after the alcohol company kept shutting down her account for trademark infringement. And if that wasn't funnier, her sister's name is Remy. You can't make this stuff up. This is a family where one sister is named, she goes by the moniker Remy, and her sister goes by the name Bacardi. Where do you think these kids are going to end up? They're going to end up empty and tossed aside. Like the bottles that contain their namesake. It's inevitable. They're going to get used up and cast aside. And there's some parents somewhere that think it's cute. That's not just them, I used to think, because I was born and raised in the church, that was just them out there and they're crazy. Right. But these principles have become so prolific that they've entered into the church, and the church is not only acceptant of it, they think it's cute. That they'll take a Cardi B song and music and put some other words to it and call it a praise dance. I don't dance no more. I make godly moves. Okay, y'all don't like me. You don't like me this morning. Okay, let me move on. Because of iniquity shall abound, the love of many waxes cold, and with no love there is no God. Where there is no love, there is no God. Now, don't get me wrong. God is omnipresent. I mean, He's everywhere. But you won't know that, and you won't feel that, and you won't experience that because there's no love in you. And when there's no love in you, and there's no love in your neighbor, when you're on your lawnmower and you're cutting your grass and you go a little too far over because your neighbor has no love, they're going to come out and fight because you just cut their grass. You're out trimming hedges and your trimmer goes a little bit too far. You better get off my property with a gun in their hand. What did you do?
And you died.
You trimmed the hedge. What'd you say?
And you died.
Thank you, sweetie. People are killing people over little
To nothing. Amen.
to nothing because they're offended over nothing. Because there is no love, there is no connection, there is no bond between you. There's no sense or sensibility. I heard about a month ago there was a guy who took a baseball bat to a car parked in front of his house because he said it was his parking space. No, I don't know if you know, but the parking on the street is public. Whether it be in front of your house or anybody's house, that's not anybody's private property. But because he claimed it, somebody being in front of his house was offensive to him, so much so, he took it out on the car. Not knowing or realizing that it wasn't his to fight for. And he's ending up in jail because he's offended. Because there's no love, there's no middle ground. It's either this or that. There's no love. And when there's no love, People fight.
Right.
They fight because there's nothing in them to care. I don't care about you. I don't care what you got to say. I don't care how you feel about it. All I want is what's in my head, and what's in my head is my way. There's a problem. There's a problem in our society. We've come to the point where what Jesus said has come true. Iniquity has abounded. It's grown. It's spread. It's pandemic. So the love of many has waxed cold. There's no warmth in people's heart. People are just cold and mean. Like Amisha was talking about her teacher the other day. Right. Just mean. What do you do about mean people? Set them straight? They're not going to get straight. They're mean. They're cold. They got no love in their hearts.
Right.
What they have is broken.
Right.
And you can't piece it back together. Well, you need to, listen. If you go to Home Depot, down the aisle where they have the adhesives, what you will find is there is a different kind of adhesive for depending on the problem. In other words, you don't put leather together with super glue. Because leather is porous, like skin. Well, leather is skin. And what the super glue will do, it will seep into the pores of the leather. It will not be tacky on the edge where you need to stick it together, and it won't last. It'll just tear. So you need a special kind of glue for leather. And guess what? Cement is the same thing. Now, there is cement glue, but you can't put super glue, which is really, really strong, on cement because cement is porous. And it'll just seep into the pores. It won't bond to itself because there's not a surface, a flat surface for it to adhere. So when people's hearts are broken, you just can't put them in counseling. Because what's missing in their hearts is love. And they're going to find that they may get closer to the problem in counseling, but they're not going to fix it. And you can't fix it yourself. You can't fix your heart yourself. How many people in the room, and you can answer this if you like, have trust issues?
Amen. Yep.
You know why you have trust issues? It's not your fault. It's because you trusted, and that trust was
Breach.
broken, breached, and that happened to you so many times. You said, "I'm not going to do this again."
Right.
That's not your fault. That's experience. You just lived, and as a result of life, stuff happened to you. As a result of stuff happening to you, you said no, not never, no more. I am not going to trust. Again, guess what? Trust is relative to love. And a lack of trust compromises your ability to love. Y'all won't talk back to me. We heard me to this other scripture, so you go. If the love of many waxes cold, and that's just not indicative of where you are in your life as a result of your experience, but it's indicative of where creation is. In other words, the majority of the people in creation have this problem. Now, I got a question. How could there possibly be a lack of love in a creation where the Creator, who is love, is everywhere? Isn't that silly? I mean, putting it like that, isn't that just a sad state of affairs? That's like you drowning, you dying of thirst in an ocean of water. How insane is that? If you were in, and mind you, not all water is drinkable, if you were in an ocean of drinkable water, how could you ever die of dehydration?
Right.
It seems crazy, but I need you to understand that is the litmus test. That is the state of affairs. That is where we are today. And it's not just where the world is, it's where everybody is. In the church, out of the church, it's just us. This is us. This is where we're at. Can everybody say amen or ouch? So let's talk about the remedy. Let's talk about the fix. Let's talk about the turnaround. Let's talk about the rub. Let's talk about the button that if we push it, everything is going to do a 180-degree turn. I want to go here. I'm going to do it. 1 Corinthians 16. What if I told you? Would you believe me if I told you that whatever problem that you're in, there's a way out?
Amen.
Yes.
Would you believe me? What if I told you that no matter what's going on in your life that's going wrong, that there's another side to that where things become right? Would you believe me?
Yes.
Would you believe me? Do you have the unmitigated gall to believe that all things are possible if you believe?
Amen.
Do you believe that?
Yes.
I don't care what the odds or obstacles are that are surrounding you, that are against you. Greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. Do you believe that? Do you believe? What if I told you that the mitigating factors, in other words, the factors that are standing between you and your goal, are surmountable? You can get past it. You can go around it. There's a way past it. There's a way through it. I don't care what it is that's standing between you and your goal. It is achievable regardless of the obstacle. Would you believe me? You guys are too quiet for me.
Yes.
Here's the thing. Your answer is part
Yes.
of the truth becoming real to you. In other words, if you know that the answer is yes, you got to dig into that yes deeper. If you know that the answer is yes, and you believe it, that yes is in you, you got to dig into that yes. You got to push into that yes until you have such a hold of that yes that nothing can shake you from what you know you got a hold of. And then, after grabbing a hold of it, that yes has to come out of you to bear fruit. Do you know I can tell, let me put it on me. Do you know that you can tell how much someone believes something by how passionately they respond? Is Jesus the Son of God?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Is he?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's not an academic question. It's not the academic answer. It's not a fundamental question. It's not a fundamental answer. It's a faith question. So I need you to respond in kind. So let's try that again. Is Jesus the Son of God?
Yes.
Why, yes, he is.
Thank you, Wanda. Thank you, Misha. Did you hear the difference? That came from a different place. That didn't come from an academic. You know, I've searched and I've done the research and after taking polls and polling the preponderance of those that I've come in contact with, the majority of the people answer to the affirmative. No. Either you know from the depths of your heart, or you don't. Because things will continue to happen in your life until your response is no longer academic. Things will happen to you. This isn't a threat. These are instructions. This is how it works. things will happen to you until you know beyond the shadow of a doubt from the depths of your heart that Jesus is the Son of God. They said in Columbine that the killers, and I don't know why they did that, but they came up to the kids and said, do you believe in Jesus? And if you said yes, they would click. So then the second person that they asked has a fundamental predisposition to say no.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
In other words, will you take what you believe and put it into practice to what degree? To the nth degree? Will you do that? Will you do that? Will you allow God to be true to the nth degree? Because things are going to continue to try you. Boys, things are going to continue to try you until you respond with the kind of response that's going to propel you forward. Until you respond in your last challenge, until you respond that the next challenge doesn't matter. Until you get to the place where you say, you know what, come what may. It really doesn't matter to me anymore because I know what's going to happen. Because what's going to happen is what always happens. Because it has always happened. Until there's not a situation where I'm going to lose hope. There's not a situation where I'm going to give up. There's not a situation where I won't listen to the sound of reveille and charge and go forward. Because sometimes the cavalry is surrounded. And sometimes they came behind the cavalry and they're coming in all. Sometimes they blow another sound that says retreat. And in the song of retreat, it is literally every man for himself. It is abandoned ship. It's like we are going to die, so make it out if you can. Or let's keep our line, let's keep our ranks. Let's press forward and we're going to win. Why? Because he said we were. And whatever the but is, whatever the response is, whatever the rebuttal is, doesn't matter. Because if God says it, and you truly believe it, then there should be nothing else after that but action.
Amen.
Somebody say amen.
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 We get here. 1 Corinthians 16. First Corinthians 16. Got it?
Yes.
Verse 9.
For a great door and effectual is opened unto me.
Listen, God will take a great door and put it on the other side. Not even on the other side. He will put it in a problem so you can make it out. How often does he do this?
Every time.
Every time. In every problem, he makes a great door. That's not a small door that you got to search for. You're going to see it. You're going to know it's there, and you got to know it's there before the problem comes. Pause for a second. Anybody got a problem in your house?
Amen.
Has it been there for a while? Hmm? I mean, anybody got real problems in your house right now, today?
Yes.
I'm not going to send you home dizzy or confused. I want to send you home with clarity.
All right. That's good.
And clarity only comes through the lens of the Word. Not because Pastor Michael got some vocabulary. The lens of the Word will make things plain. Hmm?
Okay.
And when you look at things through the lens of the Word, problems cease to be problems. I want you to listen to me real good. Through the lens of the Word, if you utilize the Word to look at life, you will see life differently. The Bible says, now we see through a glass darkly. In other words, when we look at the mirror, we don't see what we're really supposed to see. We only see what's evident. Stop looking at the mirror, talking about who's the fairest. Proverbs 31 will tell you beauty is fleeting. Don't measure yourself by that. But the woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Not the one with the thickest, fullest lips, with the most rouge on her cheeks. That is a look, it's not the look. Really?
Just look at me.
Sorry.
Chris, I told you it's always your
Oh,
fault.
I'm sorry.
Such a bad influence.
It's not her fault. I love her.
The Bible says a great and effectual, it's so effectual, it's going to get you out every time. Watch this.
And
Wait. Jesus, who we love, Son of God, who was born with everlasting life. He said, nobody can take my life. But I'm going to lay it down for a reason, for a cause, right? I'm going to go through this process. I don't even want to go through it, but I'm going to obey my Father and do what I don't want to do. He said, if it be possible, take this cup from me. It's my will. Nevertheless, thy will be done, right? So he dies. He lays his life down, right? He suffers through death. I'm not going to go into that. When he was buried, and on the third day he rose again. And when he rose again, he was given something. Keys. Now, incidentally, that same key ring contains another key, which is a master key. You know what a master key does?
opens
Opens all the doors.
He said to us, he said, behold, I give you the keys of the kingdom. Those keys aren't on this key ring anymore. He gave them to us. That means anytime somebody throws a door in front of you, you can get through it. Because you got the keys of the kingdom. That means there's no blocker that can be effective in your life. Because on your hip is a ring, and on that ring is a key to the kingdom. That means you can get through every locked door. You can get through every obstacle by design, because God designed for there to be a master key made, and the master key has to come from the master. The master gave you his key. You have the key. So there's no lock nowhere that can hinder you. Not only that, but whatsoever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatsoever you loose on earth shall be loose in heaven. Let me stop quoting. Let me just wrap this up. He said there's a great and effectual door. It's not a locked door, but it's always a way out. It's a way out of what? It's a way out of this problem. It's a way out of every problem. It's a way out of any problem. Are you listening?
Yes.
A great effective door.
And
Set it before me.
And there are many adversaries.
And there are many adversaries. What do you mean? What do you mean there's an effectual door before me? That means you always got a way out. But guess what? Guess who doesn't want you to get out?
Adversaries.
The enemy doesn't want you to get out. The enemy wants you to stay bound because he's bound.
Right.
Not only is he bound, but Jesus has all the keys. He's heading for effectual, everlasting bondage. He doesn't want you to experience
Freedom. Peace.
he that the sun sets free is free indeed. And then you get keys in case it happens again. Are you listening? The stuff that is in your house is designed to bind your household. It's designed to bind you. It's designed to bind them that you love, to hold them back, to keep them from the flow of the love that's designed for your family. Think about your house being a fortress of love that's designed to affect your neighborhood. The people that live on either side of your neighbors. The love of your house is supposed to affect all of the kids on the block. All the kids at the school. Because of the way that you love your kids, that's supposed to be in your kids so that when they get to school, they got so much it leaks on the seats and the atmosphere. So that even the teacher is affected by your kids because you love them so. You ever met somebody, they were a stranger to you, but they just felt lovable? You just felt like you knew them all. Listen, they're a stranger, but you just felt like you knew them all your life. And rather than protecting yourself against them, you just want to embrace them and, make them a member of your family. You just... I shared something like that with Glenn and Tiffany. I just met them. But after meeting them, there was a connection that I felt that I shared with them. I said, you know what? It feels like I've known you guys for a very long time. And that's a connection that I want to capitalize on. I don't want to go, after you leave, I go, oh, wasn't that nice? He was just a nice guy, and then forget about him.
Right.
When you find good people, hold on to them. Give them a reason to hold on to you.
Yes.
Don't go acting all funky and strange. If it felt right, act right. So the righteousness will catch on. And the love of many won't die, but it'll live through you, because of you, because it's in you. A great and effective door is opened to you, and there are many adversaries that, although you got a way out, don't want you to get out. Are you listening? In other words, the reason why you are still bound in your house isn't because you can't get out. Isn't because you're locked in or shut in. Isn't because you got a front door and a back door. You can get out. But there's stuff in the house that got in the house. Jesus. And it doesn't want to leave the house. And if you open that back door, that means it's got to go. See, the thing about a door, sometimes the door will let you out, and sometimes the door is open for you to sweep some stuff out. Because dirt don't belong in your house. No. There was an old Deep South superstition, and I would not normally even mention this. But I'm going to mention this with the understanding in the context that this is an old superstition. They used to have an old superstition that what the old folks used to call haints.
Yes.
Ghosts, demonic spirits, got in your house and were evidenced by dust bunnies. You guys know what a dust bunny is? The little things that they look like tumbleweed, but they're real small, and they might be in the corner of the house or under the couch, you know. So in the South, mothers were really, that's why they say cleanliness. And it's a biblical concept, but you won't find it in the Bible, that cleanliness is next to godliness. Because when those old mothers in the South cleaned the house, they were lifting up couches, they were washing down baseboards. Why? Because they didn't want any haints. It wasn't about keeping the house clean. Keeping the house clean was a means to an end. They did not want the devil in their house. And what they would do is they would sing songs about open the door and sweeping the devil out. Now there's some practical to that. There's some practical to that. If you got dust, you're going to have asthma. If you get asthma, it's going to be hard to breathe. If it's hard to breathe, your breathing is going to be labored. If your breathing is labored, it's going to be difficult to live. Because of dust. Remove the dander, and you can breathe. If you can breathe, it's easier to live. Jesus did not come for you to suffer from asthma. Jesus came into your life for you to live. Jesus didn't come to combat stress as a stress reliever. Jesus came into your life for you to be stress-free. Because he set you free prior to the stress, and then the stressful things and situations and things that you find yourself in don't have an effect on you because who's in you? Not because of what you took as a result of the stress. Not because you need to go someplace because you have stress. The stress reliever is present prior to the stress, so you can live in spite of the stress. I need you to remember and believe who God is and why he is here in your life. He's not in your life for you to get a massage once a week. He's in your life that you might have perfect peace. He's not in your life so you can take 2 Tylenol before you go to bed every night. I'm not speaking against that. But But I am speaking for, I'm not speaking against two Tylenol, but I am speaking for a better, more excellent solution. Because if we remember who our God is, and how effective He is in our life, and the power that He has in our life, we won't need a secondary way out. Because the door that's already in our life is big, and it's effectual. But there's many adversaries. I want you to know that there's a way out. There's a way out because God planned it. He placed it there. In the problem, there's no problem, there's no situation, there's no scenario in life that you can be in as a believer and not have a way of escape.
Amen.
God said it, that settles it. So there's a way out.
Yes.
I want you to breathe easy. I want you to breathe fine. And I want you to apply the word early, often. And until, I'm not saying you're going to be problemless. You're always going to have problems. You will always have problems. Your marriage will always have problems. But there's always going to be a way out. It's not the next husband or the next wife. That's not the way out. Sever this relationship on the family. That's the solution. That's the way the world does things. That's not the way we do things. There's a way out. You got problems with your children, you don't get rid of these two kids and have some more. Like my mom told me, I brought you in this world,
Take you out.
I will take you out. And my mom would say, and make another one just like you. Listen, when my mom would say that to me, I would believe her. She was a little 5'2". But she had a way of saying it, and I believed her. I did not doubt what she said. I took it to heart as if God had spoken to me. But believe this, God has spoken to you. Believe what He says and you will find that your way will be different, but it will be easier. And that's the message today. You're asking God, and I got to get to this next week, to let you go this week. You're asking God for the wrong stuff. God does not want your way to be easier. That's not His plan. He wants your way to be better. He does not want your way to be different. He wants the problems in your life to have no effect on you. Do you know what it's like to have a field full of lemons and have nothing to drink? Squeeze those lemons. Make you some lemonade. Quit talking about, all I got is lemons. Everything in my life is sour. Make some lemonade. Buy some sugar. Squeeze those lemons. Everything around them yellow. Squeeze. Throw the lemon away after you get the juice out of them. Enjoy a nice, refreshing glass of lemonade. And when life tosses some more lemons your way, open up a stand. Make some money off of it. Become profitable with the lemons of life. Everybody stand.